All right, so welcome back in. So many people work hard to keep their yard looking picture perfect. Well, this summer, lawns have battled droughts and armyworms. But in this week's Next to Nature, we learned about another pest that can wreak havoc on your lawn.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Next to Nature this week with Dr. John Long. And this week we're talking about a problem that I've had, Dr. Long's had, yard pests, voles and moles.
Right.
They're different, but how you go about maybe getting rid of them is pretty similar.
All right. First of all, there's benefits to both.
Really?
More so than I would say, or less than the damage they cause. They do aerate the soil because of the tunneling they do, and they do eat grubs and things like that. But we all know that they're pests. We don't like the unsightly tunnels in our yard, but they are really cool. I mean, they're nature's miners because they can really get after it as far as digging your yard up,
No
which is the
doubt
main
about
complaint.
No doubt about it.
Right.
So let's talk about the difference. What's the difference between a vole and a mole?
So I'd first of all say that the difference is characteristically they look totally different. I think everybody may have seen a mole before, but you know, they have their paws or feet go like this in the front. Of course, that helps them dig as well. Long nose, real tiny eyes because they don't have that very good of eyesight. They really don't need it for that much. But a vole looks like a small mouse, maybe a little bit beefier than a small mouse. Every now and then you may see one. I had a lot of vole damage in this yard earlier. Now I can't even find it anymore. So apparently that, you know, is part of the healing process of the ground. But because of that, there are differences, but the similarities are they are tunnelers. They both tunnel.
No doubt about it. Does one have like paddle-like type looking feet?
That's the mole.
That's
the
the
mole, and that helps with the digging. Eyesight is not that important to them, but if you'll notice, and our viewers may notice that after a real heavy rainfall, you'll start seeing a lot of tunneling under trees and things of that nature. And it's because those grubs are more active, earthworms are more active, and that's their main diet. So that's why you'll see them under trees and things like that after it rains, because the soil's a lot easier to move around.
That makes sense. So let me ask you, other, than the tunnels you see coming through your yard, I mean, is there a big damage or issue? How badly does it mess up your yard?
I think aesthetically it's more than anything. People just don't like the way it looks, and it is rather prominent, visibly in your yard. It's more of that than anything. But the really cool thing about a mole is they have the ability to basically recycle the air that they use. Wow. And are able to use that again because that allows them to live in a reduced oxygen environment.
So they have their own built-in oxygen system.
Right.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's the cool part, other than your yard being disturbed. So
now, if you wanted to get rid of these pests, what are the options?
So there are several things you can use. You can go to your local co-op and find those. You can read on the label. A lot of peanuts that are poisonous that you can use, much like you use on a mouse trap. Things of that nature. There's some that can limit their air supply based on activity within the ground. The traps that you use, you've seen people with spring-loaded traps. I've heard mixed results on those working or not, because most of the time when you see a tunnel already, they're moved on. They're not going to come back through that tunnel. It's just that's how they get through the ground. So
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's a thing that people think that they're like running through like gopher holes and things of that nature, but no. Most of the time when you set a trap, if you don't catch him while he's tunneling, you won't catch him because of that soil disturbance, and when they come under the trap, that's when they catch him.
And we also talked about this. Your pet might also bring you
Oh,
a prize.
Absolutely. Pets are great. Cats, dogs, they have a great way of digging them up. But then you have to balance to say, well, do I want a hole where the dog dug one up, or would I rather have the tunnel? In both cases, probably not either one of them. So.
Yeah, my cat's left me a few surprises on the back door.
Very good predators. Very good predators.
So let me ask you, these tunnels, what is it like in the tunnels? That may seem like a silly question.
No, it's not.
But you see the soil disturbance, and I mean, is this a big tunnel? Is it like, what does it kind of look like?
Right. So it's basically just a little bit larger, sometimes even smaller than just so that the mole can get through the ground. Based on the different type of mole, the fur actually also exists to where it'll fold either way. So you won't have, like if you rub a dog in the different direction of his hair will mess up. Some moles won't have that happen. It flexes back and forth so they go through the hole. So size and that, for that instance, doesn't really bother them as far as that. But most of the time it's the size of the body, where they're not really making a big cavernous hole in the ground when they do it.
So they're basically just kind of hanging out in these tunnels until it's time to move and find more food.
That's basically the way it works.
There you go. Well, learning a lot about moles and voles this week on Next to Nature. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you back here again next week.